have a great turnout on the webinar this morning. You're welcome, all of you. I brought my iPad up here this morning because we're going to invite everybody that's on the webinar as well as here to ask questions. And so I can see the question, hopefully, being asked on my iPad. Before I get started with the actual talk this morning, the talk is going to be about the new group of world servers. The reason I wanted to talk about the new group of world servers, as you might imagine, we are in difficult times. The world is in difficult times, not just the United States. There seems to be a trend of the dark forces that are trying to create a religious war between Christianity and Islam. Why the media is so focused on letting this happen, and the negativity and the fear and the horror and the terror taking place, I'm not sure. But the new group of world servers are here on the planet. And that's why I wanted to talk about it this morning, that we're not alone. We have the spiritual hierarchy. We have the Lords of Shambhala that will step in at any time that humanity is losing its way. And they will inspire the new group of world servers. That means that, once again, let me say this, we are not alone as a humanity. So what better time during the holidays and the holy days that we remember these things? Let me begin the talk this morning with a quote from the Tibetan Djwhal Khul. He said, "There are always forces of enlightenment present on earth. They are small in number." When I read that, at first it bothered me. And then I realized the teachings remind us that senior disciples, initiates, masters, mahashohans, they each represent an army of light. An army of light. So where we as individuals just see ourselves, as one person, and how can one person do anything? Well, as the one person becomes enlightened, that one person begins to move up the ladder of Jacob, metaphorically speaking, and each step of that ladder the individual climbs or ascends begins to find him having the light and the love and the power of armies. So each step of enlightenment, that individual becomes stronger and more powerful and more compassionate, to the point that their radiation is miles in circumference. So our vision, our eyes may only see one person. See, but behind that one person is an army. And that army is not only seen on the planet, but that army is also active subjectively in the higher worlds. So going back to what the Tibetans said, there are always forces of enlightenment present on Earth on a small scale. We need to understand what small scale means. Okay. He goes on to say that these forces are engaged in influencing the minds of the new group of world servers. The new group of world servers are selfless workers for humanity. The new group of world servers are thinkers which are found in every school of thought, and they work in every field of human betterment. They work upon and through all who truly love their fellow men. These are those individuals that these forces of enlightenment are inspiring. They are making contact with. What is interesting, the Tibetans said that as great as these forces of enlightenment are, they are unable to influence the minds of the closed, egocentric person. So you need to think, I won't talk about it this morning because it's, for some of us, we already know. But to think about who and what, and nationally, individually, universally constitutes closed, egocentric people, the closed, egocentric nations, even closed, egocentric religions. You know, these are the body of people that the forces of enlightenment are unable to influence. They can do little with the separative isolationist. They are ineffectual where the theologian of all groups are related. Political, religious, or social is concerned. And they can do little with the type of mind that is concentrated on themselves, you know, that are filled with self-interest, that are only willing to work in their way, that their way is the only way. And also they are unable to influence those who fail to see themselves in relationship to the whole of humanity, unquote. That quote is taken from The Externalization of the Hierarchy, page 462. Now, in our mental realm, there is a lotus. And this lotus slowly, slowly opens. The lotus has 12 petals. The outer petals are called the petals of knowledge. So we have the outer petals. Then the next petals are called the petals of love. And the next ones are called the petals of sacrifice. So if we can imagine a lotus, that the outer petals are recognized as the petals of knowledge, then we come closer to the center of the lotus. Closer to the center are the petals of love, and even closer are the petals of sacrifice. So we have 3 tiers of petals in this lotus. Then we have the innermost petals, and these are the petals of love and will and light. And these inner petals charge the outer petals. That's something you may not know, but it's true. There is another beautiful lotus in the world, and it is already in formation. It is a lotus formed by the members of the new group of world servers. It also includes this beautiful lotus in space, also includes the disciples, the aspirants, and the initiates that are assisting the members of the new group of world servers. Now, the teachings tell us that when the lotus is ready, the innermost light, that innermost light of this great spatial lotus will manifest. And that inner light is known as the hidden Christ. When we think about the axiom, as above, so below, I really believe that the innermost light is not just going to be something magically happening out in space, but there will be a synchronicity taking place with the members of the new group of world servers, with the aspirants, with the disciples, with the initiates, all simultaneously. This inner light is going to be released, which is known as the hidden Christ. The members of the new group of world servers are all third-degree initiates and higher. Now let me interrupt myself just to remind us what's going on spiritually through the new group of world servers today, through the aspirants, through the disciples, through the initiates, people who have set aside their own personal lives, their own drive for business success and financial success and so forth, to serve humanity. And this is why they are here today. And this is why I wanted to talk about them, because we are being bombarded everywhere we look and hear and recognize. The media in all its forms are instilling hopelessness in our thinking and creating doubt about the continuance of humanity and the planet. We can't give in to this kind of thinking. None of us think that way. It's being imposed upon us. There is so much good going on in the world, and so many people that are stepping in. Sometimes they don't step in until they're 40 or 50 or 60 or even 70 as a result of that contact with the great ones to begin to help. So like tonight on TV, President Obama is going to be talking to us about the protection of the United States. And because he is universally minded, he will also be bringing in the other nations around the world and what they are going to be doing, to protect their citizens, from terrorism. If you can, if you have plans tonight, set your DVR so that you can record it. If you're going to be home, don't miss it. President Obama, if you just erase all the political that's going on in negative conversations about him, listen to the good of this man. Don't think politically. Don't think, the political party that you may not be part of that he is. Don't think bipartisan. Think that this is a man who most definitely is a member of the new group of world servers, as is his wife. And then listen positively to what he has to say. The members of the new group of world servers are all third-degree initiates and higher. Yet these initiates have assistants called aspirants, disciples, and senior disciples, who are recognizable in their own right. By their own hands and feet, they selflessly dedicate themselves to serving those who are already working for humanity, who, according to the level of their awareness, are supporting and assisting the thinkers in every school of thought, of those who are working in every field of human betterment. In fact, these dedicated servers, those, even though they are not yet third-degree initiates, are moving in that direction, toward that third-degree initiation of consciousness, finding the petals of their lotus in the process of unfoldment. So let me give you a little bit of information about what it means to be a third degree initiate so we can recognize them. And if we are called, to be ready to assist them in their endeavors. First, they are free from the ancient authority of their threefold personality. They can stop their negative thinking. See, they can think negatively, but they know how to stop the negative thinking, their worrying, and immediately start to work on something very creative. They can see or intuitively sense the divine plan working in the history of humanity. They can also see or intuitively sense the vision behind the plan, which is the purpose of God. They are beginning to see why this world was created and why we are here, and how we can go forward toward that purpose. Their imagination is not blurring their consciousness. Their minds are open and clear, like a sky with no clouds present. And in this case, clouds are recognized as illusions. Now, illusions are those distorted truths that a person retains in his or her mental body, such as facts, distorted facts, and they see these facts as realities. And from these illusory facts and realities, they draw deductions. And these deductions are what cause their decisions to be wrong, because their calculations were based on wrong figures. And this is why these forces of enlightenment are unable to change the nature or the consciousness of such people. They can't make a contact. I'm trying to think what would be an example. I mean, we all know people that are in need, and yet their egotism is so compacted, like cement or steel, that anything we have to offer to them, even empathetically, that we have to offer to them, bounces right off of them. And in that bouncing away, what happens is they turn the energy that has been so generously given to them, and they turn it into a negative, into a criticism, into a disbelief. And this is what's happening to humanity today. For example, they cannot believe that a Muslim is as beautiful and noble and virtuous as a Christian, because of their illusions. You could say that those who function under illusion is like having a malfunctioning computer, where everything he decides is corrupted by the wrong foundation. A third degree initiate is a translator of higher concepts. Translator of higher concept. He has met his solar angel face to face. His solar angel is his first source of inspiration, ideas, and vision. In fact, his personality is now fused with his solar angel. The third degree initiate is gradually unfolding his mental or higher powers as he tries to penetrate into the laws of nature and has a vision of his true essence. So, when we take or we meet someone like this, or study the writings and the teachings of a great person like this, and truly third degree initiates are great people, truly great people, and there's not as many of them on this planet as some people believe there are. Some people make themselves a third degree initiate because they have the book knowledge, of what defines a third degree initiate. And yet they're mired down, in their personal self-interest and problems and so forth. So this is, again, why I wanted to share with you, who the members of the new group of world servers are, and that they are here on this planet. And there are many, many people around the world that can be recognized as helping them, the aspirants, the disciples and senior disciples, and so forth. So when you take a great being who has enlightenment, who has met his or her solar angel face to face, who has the ability to translate the plan as it has been given to us from Shambhala to hierarchy. And hierarchy takes this plan, Christ takes this plan, the masters and Shohans and Mahashohans get together and they meet periodically, take the plan from the Lords of Shambhala, formulate it into a way that will then be manifested through the inspiration given to the members of the new group of world servers and their assistants. Okay, so we have this wave of light taking place across the planet. And what is it going to do? It's going to cause a reaction to the closed-minded, egocentric people in all fields of human endeavor. And there are so many of them that now we have the battle between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. If you are not anchored as a soul in light, then these forces of darkness will persuade you over time to move over to their side. So stay clear thinking. Don't let your mind be polluted with the distortion of facts taking place in the media. Now, during the time of the initiation ceremony of the third degree initiate, a member of the new group of world servers, his or her physical, emotional, and mental nature is flooded with a great light. Also an energy. And this light and energy is coming from his fully opened lotus. This enables such a person to stand in the presence of his solar angel. Until this happens, you cannot meet your solar angel face to face in such a way. It happens during this ceremony, initiatory ceremony. What happens in this ceremony is that the initiate has a direct communication with the solar angel. As a result of this communication, he or she is able to bring through service the intelligence, the love, and the will energy to humanity, see? And in his field of human endeavor. Now, if you're looking at this person as an individual, or you're looking at this group of 20 people, and you think, that individual can't do anything, that group of 20 cannot do anything, then you're full of illusion. Because that individual represents a spiritual army and makes an impact starting intuitively. Then that intuitive impact begins to manifest into the higher mind of those who are receptive, and finally works through their day-to-day life, at work, in their family, in their community. And it may take 45 to 55 to 75 to 100 years for the whole process to manifest. And this is where the aspirants and the disciples and the senior disciples work as disciples supporting, say, the new group of world servers. Their transformative nature carries a radiation that whomever they touch, it is like, it gives them like an electrical charge. And as the people they touch receive that electrical charge, there may be a reaction, initially a reaction. And then that reaction reverberates through their entire being. And if their soul is asleep, that soul is going to awaken and become aware and think, I can make a difference. I don't have to follow like a herd of cattle what the media is telling me any longer. I can change my life. If I change my life, I'm going to change my family life. If my family life becomes radiant, my family members, all those that they contact, will also electrically charge those that they have in their environment. See, and pretty soon we have this light movement. It may happen overnight, but it is a greater blessing to have it happen over a period of time so that we can watch the process and not get knocked out. So the initiation process expands the service of the initiate into greater light, greater vision, and into a fuller response to hierarchy, the Lord of the world, and Shambhala. Such a person is a member of the new group of world servers. Many groups in the world are forming now everywhere, little lotuses. But all these little lotuses will come together in time. It is like you take your lotus as an individual, and as these outer petals of knowledge and next layer of petals of love and the petals of sacrifice that are closer to that inner lotus, as this process takes place, your lotus is attracted, I can say this, magnetically drawn to other lotuses of other individuals and groups and nations until they begin to merge or blend together. When this blending takes place, then through the law of magnetic attraction, we are pulled into this great cosmic magnet, which is also this lotus that I initially talked about in the process of formation, that is in formation. Okay? I'm so not going to get through this talk this morning, which is okay, I guess. There's so much to share. We're in such an intense time right now. You know, it's right to share it. So if we go over a little bit this morning, because we're having a meditation after my talk this morning. If I can share this. What is happening when you think of the lotuses, that each lotus is a tier of knowledge petals, a tier of love petals, a tier of sacrificial petals that are all eventually being charged by those inner petals of light and love and power. These tiers radiate out in the subplanes of the cosmic physical plane. Now, if your consciousness is aware in the higher mental plane, you're going to be inspired by the radiations of the petals of sacrifice, just as an example. And that means individuals and groups and nations all over the world will vibrate to that particular frequency. And the result is going to be a change in the consciousness of humanity. Okay. What are they radiating? The knowledge of God, of cosmos, and of spirit. The knowledge petals, the knowledge of God, of cosmos, of spirit, the love of God, the universe and cosmos, and the will of that almighty mystery, the purpose of that almighty mystery, the direction of that great cosmos will be channeled through these petals. Then each petal that is formed by the millions and millions of little petals will receive electricity. We are told that each member of the new group of world servers has a symbol on his head. Can you see the symbol? That symbol is so magnificent. When you see it, you want to recognize what it is. This is a symbol given to the member of the new group of world servers. It is she either has this symbol so perfectly formulated that if you have the psychism to see, you will immediately recognize it. Some do not have that symbol perfectly manifested yet, but it's, how do I explain it? It's like, it's there. There's a vibration with it, a frequency with it that radiates colors. And eventually in time, that radiation of color and frequency in time, and it may be incarnations of time before this symbol moves into a clear form. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. That's what happens when the symbol is projected to him. From the projection comes the actual form. Is that clear? Okay. When this happens, that person is in contact with Christ. It is a golden triangle, an equal-armed cross, and a diamond at the top radiating divine beauty. This symbol is the receiver of energy from the core of the hierarchy. Imagine. And whatever a person is doing physically, emotionally, and mentally, he or she is directed with this intuitive, telepathic communication toward a life of self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech. What is so amazing, it's, to me, I see it like a touchstone, this symbol that a person carries with him or her serves like a touchstone. And what happens is when that person does anything wrong, the triangle, that golden triangle, reminds him that something is not right that he is doing or saying or writing or speaking. The members of the new group of world servers are distributed all over the world without discrimination of race and color and religion. They are points of light on earth. They are a channel of Christ because the symbol of the hierarchy is upon their head. We are told that Christ is the commander of this great army of servers, and he trains them in the 7 rays. He has a group that is called politicians, people who are in contact with him, if they have a first ray soul or a first ray personality. They are trained in the New Age politics for the world. We know that these children have been coming in since 1942. They are charged with these energies, and they have that sign, that symbol on their heads. That symbol is the radio communication between their flame and the greater flame of the lotus of the hierarchy. The new politics will be the unification of mankind. Now, in saying this, just think of what I was talking about a little earlier, how much time it takes for the manifestation and the complete transformation of change to occur. Also, the new politics will be universalism, and we're seeing this happen. We are seeing the unification of mankind happening. We're seeing it happening. He trains a second group, which will be the educators. They are going to educate humanity about the existence of the plan and how to work out that plan in the world. Then we have the third group of communicators and philosophers. They are going to bridge the world of ideas to the world of man. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. Then he is training the artists to bring in the new art. That art will transform the physical, emotional, and mental nature. That art will break the illusions and glamour and Maya. It will break the walls between nation and nation, and will show humanity that the greatest beauty in the world is the human soul. Then Christ is training the scientific people. They are going to reveal 2 main things. The first one is that the soul exists. The second thing they are going to reveal is that there is immortality. And there is life on higher planes. They will also give us the correct way to communicate with the higher planes. The 6th group is working in the field of religion. The New Age religion is the direct communication between the person and that almighty mystery. We will see that the priests of the New Age, the bishops of the New Age, and the servants of the New Age will systematically and scientifically teach us how to come in contact with that great mystery, which is in everything and everywhere. Then the 7th group. The 7th group will teach us how to share. how to distribute the wealth of the world, the wealth of the mother world, so that every person everywhere has plenty. This group will eliminate greed and exploitation. The New Age children will be charged by a different electricity and power. The world will have a different shape. The members of all these 7 groups eventually will form the lotus of the New Age humanity, through which light, love, and power will be distributed on earth. A sage once said that the whole manifestation in the space is gradually forming a gigantic lotus, the energy petals of which are extending into space in their special colors and beauty. Each solar system, galaxy, and zodiac forms a part of the petals. All of the 7 groups of the new group of world servers are charged with one major rhythm. Whatever they do for synthesis. Christ, we are told, is to transmit the energy of a great life. Now listen to this carefully, particularly if you're an esotericist, because wrong information is being given out about the avatar synthesis. Christ, we are told in the teaching, is to transmit the energy of a great life. Transmit the energy of a great life, called the avatar synthesis. It is the energy that is needed at this time to keep our globe in line with divine intent. It is the duty of Christ to fuse and integrate with the avatar of synthesis. An avatar so powerful that only initiates like Christ can contact him. Humanity as a whole can have a chance to contact him through Christ. Christ is a bridge between the new group of world servers and that great source or power, the avatar of synthesis. He is bringing the energy of synthesis. The teaching explains that the 2 great tasks of Christ are, 1, to prepare his army of light, in tune with the energy of Aquarius and in harmony with the divine intent. And 2, to transmit the energy of synthesis to the world in such a way that people everywhere eventually respond to it and conduct their life toward a universal synthesis. As aspirants and disciples of the world, we can bring our help to the efforts of Christ through our meditation and service. Meditation enables us to penetrate into the sphere of the mind of the great Lord. Service releases the light and love and power received through that contact. Thus, as New Age servers, we are called upon to cooperate in the process of building the divine synthesis and bloom toward the cosmic lotus. Okay, I don't have up on my screen where the questions go. Are there any questions? Okay. Do you have any questions? And then we'll have our meditation.
If the innermost petals charge the whole lotus, and we haven't unfolded the inner petals yet, is it on a subtle level that they're charging?
No, it's not subtle necessarily. You know, it depends on the purity, of your personality bodies truly. And the debris that's still in the subconscious mind. The charging of these three inner, the inner lotus, let's call it, the charging takes place cyclically. It's like it receives a charge from hierarchy, from Christ, certain times throughout the history of humanity in its evolutionary process. So this electrical charge comes and hits the inner lotus. This is why meditation is so important. Sane meditation. Active meditation, seed thought meditation. Meditation is like the rotor-rooter, that goes through the subconscious mind, cleans its way up into the higher mind so that we can safely receive greater charges of energy coming from the inner lotus.